Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today is May 13th, 2025. It has been a blessing to be part of this growing community from all over the world with friends who come together to say good morning, to learn some Torah, to grow. Karen and Susie, Tara and Neil, Toby, Ann, good to see all of you. Boker Tov, my friends. Arlene and Penny, welcome. Today is broadcast 1302 because Penny told me so. It is also day 585 since October 7th. Michelle and Jennifer and Arlene, it's good to see you. Sandy, welcome. On Facebook, it's good to see Linda and Angela, Debbie, Barbara and Barry, Amy and Jonathan, Arlene and Debbie, good morning, friends. Jack, sending love to Columbus, Ohio. Cecile and Judy, good morning. Sharon and Dale, Adrian and Linda, Jerry, Boker Tov. Karen, sending love to Brooklyn. Linda, Lydia, Deborah, good morning. Sandy and Helen, Marcia and Debbie, good morning. Good morning, good morning. All right. Let's take some breaths. Natalie and Debbie, Sharon, Peter, and Carl. All right. Taking a breath. Take a breath with me. Let's sing a bracha. לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה, הפוך בה והפוך בה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Today I Today So good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. Quick note on logistics. For those who are on Instagram, I wanted to apologize yesterday for not broadcasting on Instagram as well. The challenge is that when I can't get the computer that I'm working on to work in time, or if I'm traveling, then I really have one device to use, and it's a Facebook-based community, at least for now, with Instagram as an additional option. So anyway, my apologies to you. If you ever feel slighted, please know the love is complete and present, no matter the platform. Happy birthday, Helen. So glad to see you. And today, let's dedicate our Torah not only, and I say not only in quotes because it's a priceless, unimaginable gift to have Idan Alexander home in the arms of his family. Some of us will never not be hearing the shriek of his mother when she ran to hold him that very first time. And so let it be a healing. May his healing be complete and as swift as possible. May his shock at seeing his little sibling be so big be a reminder to us that this took too long. Never should have started. But the reuniting of this family is a gift to the entire Jewish people. May they be blessed. May we be respectful witnesses, members of their family too. This is also a complicated moment because The release, it seems, happened without any involvement from Israel. The release happened because Idan Alexander was the last living American hostage. Um, and that means that we now have a different dimension of this fight. 58 hostages remain in captivity where they have been for 585 days. This is the second Parshat Emor, where we are learning Torah, counting the days, but they're there where they've been. 58 of them remain. 20 of them, please God, are alive. It should not be a matter of debate if bringing them home is the priority. And so let's make sure that the Torah we learn and the way we move our bodies, including this coming Sunday at the Israel Parade, which UJA has always championed and been the leading force with the JCRC of New York to make happen. I invite you, I adjure you, I encourage you, I implore you, come. We could march last year, we can march this year. Let's show up in every way we can. This year there will be hostage families that UJA has brought to march with us along with the other work that they do. And I know that I should turn to the verses in the Torah portion right now. But my heart, which is the heart it is because of Torah, knows that there is no greater priority than showing up. And so I invite you, friends, to really consider what you can do right now to help be part of the energy to bring them home, amplifying the priority of our people in the eyes and ears and experience of everyone who can make a difference. You can be a valuable part of this work, because Idan Alexander should never have been stolen from us, and his return is everything and not enough. So I invite you, friends, I invite you to feel the joy. Listen to the sounds of his family holding him. The bracha that one of his family members said, I couldn't tell exactly whom. They said the Shechianu. We've made it, they said. Amen. Welcome home, Idan. We're so glad to have you home. Now let's bring everyone home. It's Parshat Emor, right in the middle of Leviticus, and there are competing values that happened in this week's Parsha. One of them, yes, please, Lisa, I'm sorry for interrupting what I was about to say. Lisa is sharing on Instagram that she's going to be walking with the Hostage Families Forum and volunteering, and she can share the link. Yes, please share it here, and if you can share it anywhere else, that would be great. And Judy has clarified his Safta, his grandmother, is the one who recited Shechianu. Thank you for that. We can all keep on saying Amen to her blessing, because it is bigger than any blessing that's ever been said. Until the next one. Okay, back to Emor. Parshat Emor includes rules of purity for the priests, the Kohanim, because you might know that there are restrictions to what kind of exposure to death, in particular, a priest is allowed to have. The rule is, and many communities continue to observe this, that if you are the descendant of a Kohen, which is a patriarchal descent that gets traced all the way back to Aaron, you are not allowed to go to a cemetery, traditionally speaking, except for immediate family members. And why is this so? Because the Kohanim, especially during the time of the Torah and all the way through both temples in Jerusalem, were called to serve God by offering sacrifices, and you weren't allowed to offer a sacrifice if you were contaminated by contact with a dead body. And contamination is complicated. It's not dirty. That's not the issue. The issue is actually that the impact of death is the opposite of what the sacrifices were meant to do, which is increase love and life. And those are competing forces. We know that Torah at its essence, and God in God's essence, if we could be so bold as to say it this way, is about furthering life. That's why in these parshiot also we learn that we don't have blood. You don't consume blood. Jewish tradition forbids the consumption of blood. Why? Because blood is life, and that is purely within God's domain. That's why when we prepare meat, we soak and salt. It's part of the preparation for meat. But the rule here is that a Kohen is not allowed to come near a dead body because that would invalidate their ability to come close to God. And that means the closer we come to God, the more affirming of life we're called to be. This is a beautiful teaching because we are a mamlechet kohanim. We are a kingdom of priests, we learn eventually. And to be a kingdom of priests means that we fight for life. Nowhere has this been more clear than in these last 585 days. The pain of every loss, starting from the inception of humanity, rings in our souls, but especially since October 7th. The intense losses on October 7th, since October 7th, and the horrible way that Hamas has sacrificed the lives of its own people. Hamas was elected to govern and then made a military coup and executed or exiled all their political colleagues, the opposition, which used to be there, and they have held all of Gaza hostage. That's always been cruel and wrong and terrible. And the willingness to sacrifice civilian lives to further their terrorist goals has been the antithesis of what we try to do. It is also true that we fight when we must. I want to read you a quote from Martin Buber that I found again recently in an essay called A Land of Two Peoples, because Martin Buber, for those who don't know, was a philosopher, one of the founding faculty members at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, and he was a believer in the earliest days of Zionism, pre-state, that it should be a land for two peoples. But listen to even his language. I cannot help withstanding evil when I see that it is about to destroy the good. I am forced to withstand the evil in the world just as I withstand the evil within myself. I can only strive not to have to do so by force. I do not want force. But if there is no other way of preventing the evil destroying the good, I trust I shall use force and give myself up into God's hands. Buber's language is not a comment on this week's Parsha, but they both speak about fighting for the forces of life. And that doesn't mean the life only of my family or the people on this side of the border. It means fighting for life. And we are called to understand, and I'll answer, Susie, your question right now. We are called to understand that fighting for life means being cautious about encounters with death. To further our work as a kingdom of priests, we are called to be mindful of everything we do. And there are exceptions we need to make. The priest was not only allowed to make an exception if it was their immediate family member who had died, which means they came into contact with the dead and sacrificed their ability to be purely within the role of life affirmation. It was their obligation. Competing values happen. And Martin Buber speaks about that in that quote I just shared. I can only strive not to have to fight for life using force. But if I must use force to stop the evil from destroying the good, and that doesn't mean the perfect, then I will. These competing values are at the heart of what it is to be alive as a Jew today. Now, Susie, you asked, doesn't sacrificing an animal bring the priest in contact with death? Human death in the Torah is radically different from an animal's death. In fact, the sacred purpose of sacrifices, even though we have taken steps away from that, thank God, is very different, God forbid, than a human death. And we can talk about that another time. But for now, what I wanted to leave us with was this question. How will we fight for life? Because we are still in the position where we must fight. Can we remember that we are fighting for life? When we say bring them home now, the cost of human life in Gaza and the cost of human life of soldiers in Sahel who are sacrificing themselves, God forbid, to protect our people. These are all competing values because, after all, we shouldn't have to fight at all. The priest isn't about fighting, it's about serving. To be a Kohen, to be a Mamlechet Kohanim, to be a kingdom of priests means to serve, to use this life that we have been granted as individuals and as a community to serve. And so I bless us that sometime soon we can devote all of our energy to being of service and to not needing to fight. Nobody wins when guns get involved. And as Buber said, there's an ethical mandate to fight for life when it is threatened. If only it weren't so. If only we were able to continuously be in contact with the holy without the interruptions of death. So I bless us, friends. I bless us to be of good courage, to march as we must, to sing in 2 days with Yuval Raphael at Eurovision, to be proud of the purity that we aspire to, and to be ready to fight when we must. Please God, may we have less need very, very soon, because they'll all be home. They'll all be home. They'll all be home. Sing with me, friends. Send your hearts all the way into the tunnels. Sing to them. Pray for them. March for them. Fight for them. Kol hod balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo avda tikvateinu hatikva bat shnot alpayim להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends.